Welcome to a new episode of World Stories. We'll be taking you on an exciting journey all over the world, full of very strange fun facts and stories in our journey this week. Let's see what Flying Dutchmen here in Bahrain are capable of doing. We'll join the water parade at Venice's famous canals. Heard about the annual Sky Lantern Festival in Taiwan? We'll take you there. This and much more exciting stories in a journey around the world. Fasten your seatbelts. As part of the Spring of Culture, supported here by EDB and Bahrain Authority for Culture and Antiquities in Bahrain, we have a range of street theater pop-ups happening around the island. The first is the Flying Dutchman, which features a juggler from Amsterdam, a Mozart in his profession, and a fearless, crazy French-Canadian unicyclist who combined their multiple talent and became the Flying Dutchman to provide a show with explosive energy and lots of laughs. Every performance is an adventure, right? Let's go to know more about them. We have here in Bahrain the Flying Dutchmen, who are literally flying and drawing laughs and smiles on everyone's faces. So we need to get more about you.
Okay.
How did you guys get together? Were you always performing together, or were you performing each one on his own? Tell us the story.
Well, we have been performing together for a long time, but before that we also did different kinds of shows, and we still do different kinds of show in between, but we've been together. Our first show was in 1988. So, and in 1989 we started to work together a lot. We worked for like 10 years all the time. Then we worked a little less, and now the last few years we've been working a lot again because it's so much fun.
Okay, so if I ask you, what's the purpose of this art?
The purpose of it is to have fun and to laugh and to make people laugh. It's just big kids playing. That's really the purpose of it.
I agree. I was just telling him that I don't easily laugh. Even comedians, they don't make me laugh. But you guys, you cracked me up. Seriously.
That's the idea. That's what we want. We're just big kids.
Very true. So I see you're roaming countries and performing in different places?
Yeah, we do the show in 7, 8 languages about. And that's what makes it interesting, because we can go, every different country has a different sense of humor too. So we do the same trick, but we find the different humor in each place we go to.
So do you basically get different reactions from different audiences around the world?
Yeah, for sure. Some jokes work really well in one country and it doesn't work at all in another country. And you only find out by trying, and then you're gonna see if you can adapt and see if you can make it work in a different way. That's part of the challenge. It's fun.
So you've performed in how many countries so far?
32 actually.
Oh, you counted?
Oh, wow, that's awesome. You didn't know?
Well, I was trying to count, but I lost count. Yeah, I knew it was close to 30. Yeah. But 32, that's great. It's news for me.
Yeah, amazing. How do you guys feel when you see all of those people interacting with you? Like all of those children, they love you, they adore you.
Wow, that's fun. It's fun, you know. It's like you see after that they come up to you and they want to shake your hand and take a photo, and you know, it's really that makes you realize that you did a good job and make them laugh.
So you guys were, I don't know, your moves were incredible. Like, did you practice? How did you gain those skills?
Well, we did practice. He still practices. I can't say I practice much myself. I've been unicycling for 40 years now, so it's doesn't have to practice as much as juggling is more complicated, more practice needed.
Okay, so for a normal person to be able to unicycle for even minutes or two, how much practice does this?
It depends on the person. I've seen people get on it in an hour and 2 hours they can do it, and sometimes it takes 2 days. It depends a bit on the person, but
Seriously? 2 days or 2 hours?
yeah.
Wow, it's not impossible then.
No, my little kid is 9 years old and he's on it now, and it's like riding a bike except it's a unicycle.
You can see he has the genes.
Yeah.
Okay. So to you, what is harder, joggling or unicycling?
Unicycling is easy. Juggling is really difficult.
Seriously.
Well,
Seriously, unicycling is easy.
It's a different kind of skill. Juggling is more fine motoristics, you know. So that's why I have to keep practicing. Like for juggling with 7 balls, for example, you have to keep practicing. Otherwise, you lose the fine motor. The 5 balls I can do in my sleep, you know, but 7 is really difficult. And with unicycling, it's like he says, you learn it, and it's hard to forget it. Some tricks, of course, you have to keep on practicing a little bit, right? And but most tricks, you once you've learned them, they're in your system.
Is there another skill that you guys are looking forward to acquiring?
Retirement? Sleeping? No.
No, seriously, are there like new tricks that you guys want to try, upgrade
we're-
your performance or something?
Not with this show, no, because like he lives in one country, I live in another country. He lives in Canada, I live in Holland, so we don't really get that much time to practice together. We have like a few routines that we sometimes do, and then we have to practice it a bit again, and then we can do it again.
Wait a minute, you live in different countries and then
Different continents.
different continents,
Yeah.
and then you meet up when you have a performance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so how did you guys decide that you're gonna perform together?
Well, he was doing a solo show and I was doing a different show, and I wasn't really enjoying my show at the time, and he was tired and he'd already done 3 shows, and said, hey, come and do a show with me. And we did a show together and it clicked, and we said, well, let's keep going. And we just never stopped after that, 32 years ago. 32 years, 32 countries.
That's amazing. So if I ask you, what is your ultimate goal? Where do you want to take this?
I just want to be able to keep doing this. I mean, I'm 51 now, I think. Yeah, 51. And, you know, it's like I just want to be able to keep doing this because I always love playing at different festivals. I mean, sometimes we go back to the same festival, but we often go to festivals we haven't been before, and it's always an adventure. And we know a lot of people in the scene. Like there's a lot of festivals where you get, for example, 10, 20, sometimes even 100 performers. And it's a small world, so you know a few of them and you hang out, you meet new friends. So as long as I can keep doing this, I'm happy.
But I do get how hard it is. Sometimes you don't have the energy to laugh. You don't have the energy to do all of that performance and draw all of those smiles, and you still do it. So really, hats off, hats off.
It's off, it's off. The hardest part is actually the traveling part. Sometimes we travel for 30 hours and spend a lot of times in airplanes, and we're tall guys, so we're stuck in little seats in airplanes. So that's more difficult than the show.
So you were talking about your son. So how do your children, I don't know, react when they watch you perform?
Our kids have seen that. I've got 4 kids. He's got 3, and they've seen that all their lives. For them, it's like, it's just normal.
Like, yeah, Dad is brushing his teeth.
Yeah, nothing special.
Wow, I don't expect to see my dad do that. What about your kids?
They're a bit the same. I remember I was the other day, before I came here, I was in England on holiday with my family, and I was practicing 7 balls in the hotel room to keep it up. And my 2 kids that were with me, they were just reading their book. They didn't even look up. For them, it's just so normal, you know, daddy juggles, you know. Yeah.
Wow, very interesting.
But it was fun because A few weeks ago, my daughter said, actually, Daddy, I'm really proud of you that you do something else than all the other dads. And so I thought that was quite fun.
Yeah, that's amazing, right? If I ask you, what is your impression about Bahrain since this is your first time in Bahrain?
The people are very nice. The people are lovely. Everybody is just friendly and smiling, and it's very nice. And
Thank you very much, Flying Dutchman. It has been a pleasure. We enjoyed having you with us so much. Can we end this with a trick, please? Yes. We can't just end it like that normally. Yes?
Keep your finger up. Keep it strong.
Wow.
keep it strong.
I'll try. No. You didn't count though. Oh my God. Thank you.
Thanks. Well done.
Venice is absolutely fascinating and magical at any time of the year, and while it's popular all year round, it's particularly special during the carnival season. It's famous for the cruises in its beautiful canals, so imagine how exciting water parades would be. Why imagine? Let's go check it out. The famously known Pantagana, a boat made in the shape of a giant water rat, led the annual Carnival water parade in the Italian city of Venice. Thousands of people gathered to see the parade, filling the banks of the canals. The audience admires all sorts of costumed rowers making their way up the canal.
Per chi vuol far mentre uscivo dalla scuola. Andiamo al pontile pian pianino. Sì, no, adesso siamo qua così, seguiamo così, siamo qua. Si riesce ad andare solo che dopo andiamo. Vabbè, dovrei fare una chicane anche dopo perché...
From Italian Venice to Venice of the North, Belgium's most romantic city, Bruges. It's called the Venice of the North for a good reason. The charming canals and medieval buildings are a magnet for couples looking for a romantic backdrop to their Valentine's Day. Most recent figures show 8.3 million people visit Bruges from all corners of the world, and there's nothing like a canal tour to understand why. It's still chilly, the perfect opportunity for some romantic words as the boat cuts through the glassy water in the morning mist. Boat rides are a tourist's favorite, and now visitors have one more reason to enjoy the experience. Successful trading here enabled Bruges to become an important commercial and arts center during medieval times. In the 15th century, it was one of Europe's richest cities and home to Flemish masters. Tourism officials say the city was fully booked up for Valentine's Day. You can't pass any of the shops without seeing a heart-shaped and romantic offerings for Valentine's Day. The more we learn, the more we realize how little we know about the world. Let's explore some interesting and entertaining facts to twist your brain and tickle your curiosity. Most species of geckos don't have eyelids, and because they can't blink, they literally lick their eyes to clean them and keep them moist. The tall pleated white hat that chefs wear, technically called a toque, has many folds for a reason. It's not only used to signify a chef's level of experience, but also the number of folds represent the number of ways he or she can prepare an egg. This is Turritopsis dohrnii, also known as the immortal jellyfish. Those species don't die, but transform themselves back into their Durneville polyp state. Their tentacles retract, their bodies shrink, and they sink to the ocean floor. And just like that, they start the cycle all over again. In ancient Greece, throwing an apple across to a woman was considered to be a way of expressing your love for that woman. And if the woman caught the apple, she accepted your marriage proposal. It seems rather funny to us in the meantime, but it's the truth. Setting a picturesque scene, majestic birds sit by the banks of the Nile in the Egyptian city of Aswan. It has been a tourism magnet for years, but mainly for its archaeological monuments and ancient temples from the pharaonic past. Today, people are making their way to the Egyptian city for its nature as a bird-watching destination. Migrating birds making a stop in Egypt are the stars in a scenic view along the banks of the Nile, where many tourists are coming to catch a glimpse of the flying visitors. Many of the birds make a stop in the southern touristic town of Aswan along their journey to roam the globe as the seasons change. Bird watching in Egypt promises variety. Of at least 520 bird species in Egypt, some 220 live in Aswan on its own. The birds rest comfortably on rocks in the Nile, but one is ready to take flight. It spreads its wings and flies just above the surface of the water to disturb it and create a jet that follows the bird around. The scene looks fitting for a wildlife channel. Looking at the feathery animals from boats sailing the Nile, bird watching guides help visitors learn more about the birds. The tours call for the early birds as they start right after sunset and last around 2 hours. The boats typically circle around the small islands located in the area. The whole experience offers visitors the chance to connect with nature. Hundreds of people gathered in Taiwan to celebrate the annual Sky Lantern Festival at the beginning of the Year of the Rat. Yes, you heard that correctly. Year of the Rat, based on the Chinese calendar. Rat is the first in the 12-year cycle of Chinese zodiac, and the years on the Chinese calendar are divided into 12-year cycles, meaning that the next year of the Rat will occur in 12 years' time. People release their lanterns in the air as they wish for a happy and prosperous year ahead. One of the festival's main lanterns was dedicated to Mazo, goddess of the sea and the protector of fishermen according to local tradition. The festival marks the end of the 15-day celebration of Lunar New Year, also known as the Spring Festival. From social media, we got you a widely shared video of two dogs who were desperate for a walk. Check out their trick. It's super funny. With this, we have arrived at our last station. If you have any suggestions of things that you want us to cover, or even social media videos that you want us to share, please send it to the email listed below. Looking forward to hearing from you. Goodbye and see you next week with new facts, journeys, and world stories.